Thank you. Later on, I'm going to need some volunteers, so just get ready for it. A couple former old linemen or whatever if you want. Be good. What I'm going to do today is, and I don't care really what front you run, okay? But today, what I'm going to go over is some ideas that we did in stopping the run, okay? These are things that Buddy's carried for 30 years in the NFL with them. And they're little things that are quite a bit different from what most people do traditionally to stop the run. I know everybody is running some type of over front. You know, a lot of people are running that Cowboy or that Miami front or whatever they call it. But generally, you're running some type of front like this. And today, I'm going to start with this, and then later in the second session, I'll get to the 46. Okay, but just so you know, your basic fronts. We'll start with 7-man fronts, and I'm going to show you how you're always going to get a free hitter to the football. Okay? You will always get a free hitter to the football if you play with technique. Okay? And that's the big thing. This session today is going to be about playing with technique. All right? And I know that, you know, as far as scheme and all that kind of stuff, you can draw up a zillion different things. But if they don't play with technique, you're going to get beat anyway. Okay? So what I'm going to do is actually start with the entire front. Okay? I'll start with the D-line first, then we'll go to the linebackers. As far as the secondary is concerned, you guys can take a break right now because it's going to be nothing but the front. Your corners, all that kind of stuff. In our system, the way we teach it, we don't need our corners ever to support the run. Our corners are going to be pass defenders first. So, you know, your systems might be a little different, but you're going to understand these techniques will be very similar, okay, no matter what front you play in. All right, the front I got up here first is obviously, you know, some type of over defense, okay? And we're going to start with the two inside guys. The most important guys in stopping the run are these two right here, okay, these two shades. The way we play a shade, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about, you know, you play an eyeball shade with them, or you get a real wide shade where I'm taking my inside foot and putting it on his outside foot, those type of things. This is an ability alignment, okay? An ability alignment. Ability to do what? Okay? Well, you're going to understand our concepts and how simple it is, okay, right down from, you can play this anywhere. NFL, high school, junior high, Pop Warner, whatever. You can play these techniques, and you can give them the same responsibilities that we gave our people, okay? No matter what the front is, we will only give our defensive linemen 2 responsibilities, okay? Only give them 2 responsibilities. I can't expect this guy to learn how to play 100 different blocking schemes, okay? I'm not going to expect that out of this guy, okay? We're going to give him 2 responsibilities, and he's going to be great at those 2 responsibilities. All right, they are, anytime I'm in a shade alignment, I am not going to get reached, okay? I am not going to get reached. The other thing you're going to hear about, the other responsibility is I'm not going to allow the jump through. Okay? Those are the only things, and as we get going, those are the only things I'm going to ask you. What is his responsibility? Don't get reached, don't allow a jump through. Period. That's his 2 responsibilities. Every other block we're going to react to. But for now, those are his 2 primary responsibilities. And let's go over playing the reach block, because you're going to find out that most people, probably 90% of people, play the reach block wrong. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to do it. If I can just get anybody to stand up here, please. Just you right here. Be good. I was eyeing you as I came in. I thought I can handle you. But I'm going to show you what's going to happen here. Okay, most people, and we'll get different angles so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm glad you play the offensive position, okay? All right, and coach is playing the guard position. Let's say I'm the 3 technique. Okay, you'll notice I never said anything about inside hand down, outside hand down, whatever. Because what will happen is if you want to mess with somebody's mind, a guy's never played out of a left-handed stance, and you're forcing him how to, to play out of a left-handed stance, then he right now doesn't think he's as good as he should be. So let him do anything he wants. It's just that old saying, you see that old man in the park, for instance, okay? You know the guy. That's important, okay? That's important. But what I'm going to do here is show you how most people play a reach block. On paper, you just put up there, there's no way I should be reached, okay? Here's what happens, though. My head is going to end up in great position. Okay, go ahead and give me a reach block. Okay, look where my head is. I'm in great position with my head. Okay, I'm outside, right? But where are my hips? Keep on running with the reach block. Well, what happened? Look where my hips are. Okay? My hips, you'll understand that the way you stop a run and the way you play with technique, it's all with your hips. Okay? It's all with your hip position. Okay? It's not the head position. My head was great. Go ahead, one more time. My head was great, but look what he did. He walked around me because my hips were inside. Okay? So right on back here. You're going to play this block, you're going to defeat this block with your hips. Okay? Now go ahead and do it. Okay? You see the position of my hips? I'm already in my whole responsibility. Let me give you the advantage of playing it this way also. If I go to shed a block, or I'm just going to square up with this guy, what do I have to do? The first thing I have to do is get sideways anyway before I snatch him, coming off and making a tackle. Okay? There's no way I can't possibly make a tackle over here unless I clear him to a side, unless I get my hips pushed to the side. So by playing with good technique, we've also done the other thing, which is already got myself in position where I can shed this guy. I'm already in a pre-shed alignment by playing with my technique. Okay, by playing my technique on this guy. Okay, I'm already in a shed position. Understand how it works. As soon as he moves, by the way, this is my only target. He's my only target. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about backside guard. I'm not worried about anything. All I'm worried about is who I'm on, okay, who I'm lined up on. That's it. So as I come off, and as soon as I see, and I'll treat the base block the same way, as soon as I see him stepping to me at all, then I'm going to back my hips up. Okay, you see how it works. I'm going to back my hips up. I'm going to stay down, okay? I'm not ever going to raise up. What happens is an offensive lineman wants you to do what? He wants to get belly to belly with you, okay? Because I have no separation off the blocker. By keeping your hips back, go ahead. Boom, by keeping your hips back, you'll notice I'm already got separation on this guy. Okay, I've already got separation. What is my whole responsibility? I'm in the B gap anyway, right? That's my whole responsibility. I got 3 yards of ground to cover there. Okay, I got 3 yards of ground to cover here. I'm in the B gap. My hips are in the B gap. I promise you, they can't run a ball through your gap. Okay, I can promise you that. Somebody will say, first thing I always get, well, Coach, what happens if he blocks out on me? You said as soon as he comes out, go ahead, come out. I've already backed my hips up. So what? If I give a little ground, it doesn't matter. Where's my whole responsibility? Still the B gap. Somebody else has got the A gap. Okay? So that's the main thing on play to you. Okay? The reach block. Okay? The reach block. I'm going to show you, does everybody see? That's pretty simple to play, right? Well, Coach, how the hell are you going to play double team? We just told you how to play double team. Right there's how you play double team. Same way you took on that reach block. Okay? It's a reactionary block. But I'll go ahead and show you that just so you can see how the technique's the exact same. The technique's going to be the exact same, the reach block and the double team. I need one more guy to go ahead and knock me out of here real quick. Well, he's definitely not going to be the drive guy. No. What will happen is, generally and I'm sure you guys are getting the same thing that I've gotten, it's not really a true double team. Most teams these days are going to that double team and then chip. This guy's going to try to work. The postman is going to actually try to work his hips around us, and that drive man's going to try to push us off and go to the backside linebacker. Okay, that's generally what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how you're going to tie up his legs. I don't even know if we can do it up here. but we'll give it a shot. But I'm going to take my hips and tie up the drive man, okay? And then if he has to release, then if he releases, guess who's going to be in the hole to make the tackle? I am. Okay, so let's go ahead and what do you think? We can give it a shot, right? All right, now, all I'm worried about right now is this block. As soon as he steps off at me at all, okay, my hips are automatically coming here. I'm never going to assume that I'm going to get one man blocking me, okay? I know right now he's not going to be good enough if I play with technique to drive me out of there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and assume right now I know it's coming. As soon as he comes straight off, I know it's coming, okay? But you guys just work a combination off on me, okay? Go ahead and everybody like bend down a little bit. All right, so on you guys' movement. So that hit. Boom. You see the hips? Right now you see my hips. I'm in hold position. I'm in this B-gap responsibility, okay? And let's go ahead and we'll come off a little better right here just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? I'm keying the, a little bit over here. So you guys are going to come off together, okay? Come off together, and then obviously try to reach my backside linebacker, okay? So let's slide down a little more over here, and then we'll get over there, okay, on the next one. I'll just say set, hit. I already know where you're going, so I'm cheating. Here we go. Set, hit. Okay, you see what happened? Look where he's going to have to run. Where are you running to? Circle K? You see what I'm saying? No, he's got to run around everything. What's happened with that hole? Where's that back going? If that hole's got to get that wide, he's like, hey, to hell with this. I got to take what I can get inside. So ideally, here's what it looks like on paper. We're right here together. Boom, I'm backing my hips up into him. If I keep doing this, he's not getting number one any double team at all, is he? They're not moving me at all, okay? If he comes off really hard, he's going to end up having to stay on that double team, okay? And that's what we want because that linebacker is going to be flying over the top of us. Okay, go ahead and stay on the double team just a little longer, okay, and then come off. Okay, set, hit. Okay, you see what happened? Right here, my hips are already in position. If they stay, I don't care. I'm basically in a split position. Okay? I'm in a split position. If he was to come off, go ahead, guys. As he was here, if he was, whoop, and we'll just show him in an up position right here. If he was to come off, go ahead and come off, release. I'm already in position to make this play out here. Okay? So as soon as he replaces the thing here's what they want you to do. Here's what they want you to do. If I don't step out with my hips, and it's going to be ugly, all right? Now, let's just walk through it. I don't want to end up over there. But if I come off and my hips don't follow me, okay, go. Whoa! See what's happening? I'll promise you, they will truck you. I'll end up over on that wall, okay? But, by playing with my hips, by throwing those hips, number one, he can't come off immediately and drill my linebacker. Number two, I'm in great position. I'm still in a B gap, okay? And the other thing is they can't walk around. Let's do it again, and this time go ahead and you'll go ahead and hook me, okay? And you're going to come back here, do like a double team, a combination that everybody's doing, okay? Okay? Here we go, set, hit. Whoa, see, I already got reached, okay? I'm glad I don't have to go against that guy. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? By playing poor technique, or maybe I'm rolling off. Okay? Let's go ahead and roll off and see what happens. So hit. Oh. See, look where my hips are. You see where my hips are. If you roll off, you better get your hips outside. Okay? So, and the thing that we always see is there's times when you're going to roll off. We know it's passing situations. Maybe we get a pre-snap key. Maybe this guy's butt's down here. Maybe it's down here when it's a pass, but maybe it's way the hell up here when it's a run. There'll be times when you will roll them off. But to stop a run, you better play with technique. Okay, understand, you need to play with technique. And all it's going to be is using those hips. Understand, use your hips. That's what's going to defeat these blocks. All right, let's go over here real quick so they can see it one more time. Over on this side. Never got to see it. All right, again, you guys are look at my hips more than anything else, okay? Watch my hips. Don't, as I'm going, you'll see what's going to happen. I'm going to actually end up in this position, okay, hopefully. All right, here we go. Set, hit. Whoop. Okay, you see what happens? See how wide I get with him? If he's going to come off of my linebacker, that back, there's no way in hell he can run. He's going to have to come up inside. That's where we want him, okay, on that play. There's a double team and a right off. Okay, they want it to go off tackle. But by working my hips out there, you see what happened? You see why I had to go so wide? Because my hips were tying him up, weren't they? Okay, we'll just glance at it again. See, my hips, okay, we'll just half-ass it. See, my hips are backing up. I want to tie him up with my hips. Okay? When he comes off, okay, come off, he ran around it, I'm still already in a shed position. You see what I'm saying? So I'm already in a great shed position. It's a way, what's the best thing you can do on double team? Everybody talks about split and double team. How you going to split it? Right there is how you split it, okay? Back your hips up on them. That's how you're going to split it. I'll show you a poor way, a roll-off way, okay? Don't knock me back there. No, but I'm going to roll off, and watch the difference. I'll give him a look here. I'm going to come back and try to give him a look, but watch what happens. Okay, set, hit. Whoa. You see what happens? What happened? My hips weren't underneath me. I rolled off, which brought me almost belly to belly with this guy, and he can walk around me any day he wants, okay? Unless I bench 500 pounds, which I'm a couple pounds under that right now. There's no way in hell I can stop him from driving me out of there, okay? But I can right now bench a 225 by using my techniques, okay? By using technique. He's a hell of a lot better player than I am, but I guarantee you he's never going to reach me, and they're not going to get moving on me in a double, okay? Because I'm going to play with technique. The next thing, let's jump up here real quick, guys, and then we'll get rid of you for a while. All right, the next thing that we're going to get is going to be what we call, what was the second part of that? That looks real easy. Coach, hell, we already got it figured out. We're going to widen them. We're going to widen them, and we'll play that block right now. We'll play that reach block right now. What was the other part of that responsibility? Jump through. Got to hold the jump through. And you'll see why later. That linebacker coach loves to coach here. That's why I went from coaching D-line my first year to linebackers. These guys are going to hold the jump throughs. And basically what that is, let me borrow you, big man. All right? Basically what that is as soon as he works inside, everything we talked about was a play coming at me. The other play obviously going away, and everybody in the world runs it. He's going to go ahead and cut off, go flat, and he's going to pick off our linebacker, isn't he? Okay? Everybody in the world runs it. Okay? You guys know what I'm talking about? This type of angle here. All right? He's coming off here. He's going to step flat, and he's going to pick him off, isn't he? Okay? Scoop, people call it. Whatever you call it. We call it a jump through. Here's the way we're going to play it, and we got some great illustrations on tape, you know, which we'll show it to you to prove my point. Okay, and this is just going to be, we'll half-ass it here just so we don't end up all over the place here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back, and I'm going to shoot right now for the low part of his outside number. Right here is where I'm going to shoot for. Okay? And all I'm going to do is, you go where you want to go. I'm just going to pull him. Okay? I'm going to pull him. Because what's going to happen is, as soon as he will never catch my linebacker, go ahead and catch him. If we turn him, he will never catch him. Okay? And that's all we're going to do. That's what we're going to teach. As soon as he goes flat, I go flat with him. Set, hit. I'm right here. Okay? See how I step with him? I got his far number. If he really wants to go flat, then let me tie this thing back up. Then I'll go ahead and stay flat with him. Okay? But if he wants to go, you know, they generally will try to get a quick angle on it. Okay, a quick angle to try to cut him off. All right? Let me see here. All right, that's in position. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that down here on both sides real quick, and we're going to add something to that. Okay, we're going to add something to it here in a second. But watch my hand placement. Okay, watch my hand placement. I don't care. You might even tilt your guys a little. Doesn't matter to me. Okay, whatever's good for you. Again, it's an ability alignment, isn't it? Okay, so as soon as we'll come off, you go get that linebacker. Okay, number one, if he goes that flat, notice I shuffle down with him. Okay, go ahead and keep it a little tighter. Okay, set, hit. Okay, and I'm not going to go ahead and tear this thing, but you'll see what will happen is my whole job is to protect that backside guy. Okay, linebackers, we talked about, I'll promise you, I'll show you a free way to get a guy going to the football every time. Here's why. We're going to hold that jump through, and again, I won't pull you because that thing's going. All right, okay, set, hit. But you notice how, look at that hand. Okay, keep going, keep going. That linebacker, we protected him, that linebacker's downhill running. Okay, what's the second part of that? The second part is, well, Coach, how about the guy, going to block you? We all saw what happened in that Green Bay game. Okay, with Jerkovic and all that, Eric Williams cut him, right? What happened is, this is exactly what happened. Okay, go ahead and get out of there. Whoop. Straight up the field. Straight up the field, and he cut him. As soon as he ran, he cut him. You're actually going to protect yourself by playing with good technique, okay? By playing with good technique. So, what do I have to job? What is my gap responsibility in that? Anyway, I'm already lined up in a B. I'm staying B, right? That's my whole responsibility. I'm actually going to do my responsibility. He's going to let me do my responsibility, okay? Just by concentrating on him, he's going to take me to my responsibility when flow goes away, okay? By turning him quickly, okay, set, hit, come with me. You see what happens? I'm going to throw that arm right now. So my whole thing is teach grab here. I'm going to grab here. When he goes, throw that arm and cut him off. You see what happens? I just cut him off. All right? The advantage of that compared to just rolling off is when you roll off, what are you actually telling your guys to do? Make the tackle. Okay? Make the tackle. And he better make the tackle because your linebacker's getting drilled by that scoop. So what we do is we try to get a combination of the best things possible. Okay, the best things possible, which is hold the jump through. Let's let that backside linebacker make all the tackles. Okay, and then I'm still in my gap responsibility, which you gain from rolling the guy off. He rolls off backside, boy, he's going to flatten off and make the tackle. I'll show you on tape. He's going to flatten off and make the tackle, but he's going to hold the jump through first. Okay? So let's give them the whole picture again. You guys are coming off together and sliding out of there. I will not let go. I'm going to let go of that jacket, okay? We go set, hit. See what happened? Got me running downhill. Where's the ball going? Going that way. Got me running downhill. Got the big man. He can't block anybody now because the linebacker's already beat him. I've turned him. Okay? So that's how that looks. And that's your second part of the responsibility. One more time, real quick over here, so these guys can see it. These guys getting a workout. I'll buy you a cold one after. All right? It'll be a good deal. All right, now, watch what I'm talking about. This is the correct way of doing it, okay? Hand placement right here, low part of that far number. That's my hand placement, okay? If he goes real flat, I'll flatten out with him. I'll run with him, okay? When he comes off, when they combination off, all right, they combination off, then I'm going to pull. This is how it's going to look, okay? Go. And I'm going to take a slingshot right off him, okay? Protect my linebacker. We'll give it to you a little quicker so you have an idea what it looks like. Okay, set, hit. Okay, he wants to come off. I got him. I've already split it, okay? I've already split it. So I'm in good shape. By doing that, my position is here. The ball's being run that way. I've already turned, and I'm running that way, okay? That's not, just step, shuffle, shuffle with him. I've stepped, I've turned with him. I'm running that direction. I've protected my linebacker by holding him, okay? By holding that guard off. So, okay, thanks, guys. Those are the two primary responsibilities. Okay? Primary responsibility was don't get reached. Don't allow a jump through. Anytime you're shaded, okay? Anytime you're shaded, you're going to play those two responsibilities. Okay? You're not going to get reached, and you're not going to allow the jump through. There's where that ability alignment comes into play, doesn't it? Okay? Because it's easy to sit back and say, well, if he's going to stop the reach block, then hell, we'll get him out there wide. But you see the second part of that, which is the jump through, probably the most important part. Okay? So you got to tighten him back in. Everybody's different. Again, he might be a 4-point stance, 3-point, left hand, right hand, it doesn't matter. Okay? He's got to be able to handle those two responsibilities. Okay, let's go out to the ends. Okay? Let's go out to the ends. I can tell you right now, as a fact, that Dallas is going to go to more head-up ends in running situations, and I can promise you you're going to see the Raiders in a head-up position next year. Okay? The reason being is when he's out wide, so many plays, they're going to be more cutback angles on you. Okay? They can get cutbacks on you. So what I'm going to teach you right now is, I don't know if you're playing, the hardest thing to do, obviously, is a straight two-gap. No question about it. No question about it. But I'm going to get you to understand, you know, later how we play formations where it's really not ever going to be a straight two-gap. Okay? We're going to be eyeballed one way or the other. Okay? But we're going to give them two responsibilities. Boy, that sounds familiar, right? Anytime they're head up, okay, anytime they're head up, we're going to give them two responsibilities. One is 7 yards of ground, okay? He's going to string it out for 7 yards of ground. In other words, does he have to make the play in there? Really doesn't, but he's got to string it out because this guy's our force man, okay? He's our force man. Anytime you got a safety up there for force, we got to string that thing out 7 yards. Okay, string it out for 7 yards. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get going a little quicker on this so we get the linebackers. But understand what I'm talking about is when I get a reach block, I'm stringing that sucker out. I might actually end up, ideally, I'd like to shoot my hips across it and string it out that way. But if the worst thing you do is actually play behind it a little bit, you're still okay. Okay, you're still okay because we can still overrun you here. All right, we can still overrun you. So, again, if you got a great end, you'll see on tape you got two great ends. It's easy to show you. You know, guys taking wide base, they get that hand out and they're backing their hips up. But you never know what you're going to have, you know, personnel-wise. So if the worst thing he does, even if he gets cut off, we can still overrun him. Okay? But try to stay out here. You know, as soon as the ball gets this way, right here, then we're going to string it out right now, get on a 7-yard path. Okay? If I have a linebacker outside of me, it's 3 yards of ground. Okay? It's 3 yards of ground. So string it out for 3 yards. You got a linebacker already sitting on the line of scrimmage. Okay? In an 8-man front, if you have somebody on the line of scrimmage out here, it's only 3 yards of ground. Okay? But that's the play side. We always have a play side. We always have a back side. All right, so play side is I got a safety outside of me. It's 7 yards of ground here. I got a linebacker outside of me. It's 3 yards of ground. Back side's going to be the same. We're going to tell them to close the cutback. Okay, we are going to close the cutback. And so all that means is as soon as he steps down, it's only two gap by alignment. But as soon as you step inside, we're going to get our hand on you, and we are going to flatten out right now and close that hole. I know it's going away from us. Okay? I need one other guy up here real quick, if I could, please. Yeah, anybody? On this right here, you'll see what I'm talking about, and we got some great illustrations on film where you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But all right, he's the tight end. All right, the ball's going, obviously, if the ball goes to me this direction, I'm going to try to string it out for 7 yards of ground, okay? But when flow goes away, I'm going to speed it right now, okay? I'm going to get my hand on it and split it and just throw my arm right now, okay? So go ahead and cut me off there. Yep. Okay, you see what I'm talking about? I'm going to throw my arm. So what that's going to get me to do is I'm going in the direction the ball is going, okay? And what will happen is this guy's taught to do what? He's taught to seal you. Okay, he might be taught to cut you. But for him to cut me, if I'm going sideways, what leg does he have to get to? He's got to get to this leg. There's no way he can do it. Okay, there's no way he can do it if you're playing with good technique. If you play with poor technique, he can cut that front side leg on you probably. Okay, but good technique, get that hand on him just so you don't originally get hopped around on. Okay, so my hand, it's going to look like this. My hand's going to be here. Now when you start turning, I'm going to start turning, okay? And you're going to see on film where we can be even with each other, okay? He might even be a little ahead of me, but I'll guarantee you I'm going to close the cutback if I play with this technique. So the flow's going away, and I'm going to actually, he's going to get ahead of me a little bit here, okay? So that hit, you see what happens? I'm running right downhill. I'm going to reduce that hole. I'm going to reduce that hole. Is it my play to make if he pops it back over top of me? No, I got my safety back there, okay? All right, thank you. So I got my safety back there. So as soon as that flow goes this direction, his head, who am I keying? One guy. I don't care about what happens in here. His head goes inside. I take my arm and I turn. I'm going to rip my arm, my outside arm, bring it back underneath, and I'm going flat, okay? And I'm going to go flat down the line of scrimmage. Those are the ends' two responsibilities. So when you ask the ends, they tell you, I have 7 yards of ground responsibility if a safety's outside. Both of us have close the cutback when flow goes away from us. Okay, so that's our terminology, closing the cutback. Ball's going here. His head, first step goes inside, I step, and I close it. His head goes inside, I step, and I close it. Okay? So that's what we mean by closing the cutback. All right, that covers the primary rules for your ends. The primary rules for your ends. Now I'm going to talk about the reaction blocks. Okay? The reaction blocks for your tackles. Okay? All this is going to be gravy for you. It's all going to be bonus. Anything they do from here on out is bonus as long as they can do what? Two responsibilities. Don't get reached, don't allow jump through. Everybody sit back and I tell you what, after about 3 months of saying it to them, they're going to be throwing things at you, doing all that. We know our responsibilities. Well, that's the point. They know their responsibilities. Okay? The reactionary blocks you're going to get are the most obvious. Anytime you play a 3 technique, any offensive coach in here will tell you they're going to run a tag. Tackle down, guard out. Okay? You're going to play this block 3 different ways. You are going to react to this block 3 different ways, depending on who you are. If you have a guy, he might just be quick. You know, he might just be a little quick guy. It doesn't matter because he can still go. If they block down here, it doesn't matter. He can get skinny through the hole, and he's still right. He's still right. Remember the old thing of saying, well, when he gets that down block, he's got to club across it. Well, sure, that's the ideal way. That's the ideal way of playing it. But you better be strong as hell, and he better see it coming. Okay? If he doesn't, he can't play his responsibilities. So if you got one good enough, let us know about him. We'll take him from you. Okay? If I can see that right now, that club, that guy blocks down, and I can club across that, that's super. Okay? That is super. But what happens is, as soon as he steps back and pulls, you generally end up up the field a little bit. And that's okay. I'll get up the field. Now, as soon as I see you pull wide, I can just drop my shoulder down right here and get skinny through the hole. When that happens, number one, the ball's going this direction, though, isn't it? The ball's going this direction when you get a tag. So, Coach, why the hell he's in the backfield over here? He's taking himself out of the play. No, he's only giving you one direction to go with the football. Okay? Do you have a cutback when he gets penetration up the field? There is no cutback. So who's going to overrun him? Right there. Your backside linebacker is going to overrun him. So by getting skinny through the hole, he's still doing a job. Okay? He's still doing his job. Did he get reached? No, that's not a reach block. Did he hold a jump through? Well, no. There was no jump through. That's exactly right. So you're going to live with the rest of it. You're going to live with the rest of it. Ideally, you'd love for him to club across that block. But you don't have time to teach it all. Okay? You don't have time to teach it all. If you got a great one, maybe there's certain formations, that's all the block you're ever going to see. Well, that's great. You can come up there, you see that tackle crowding the ball, and you see that guard getting off of it. You're just like, well, here it comes, baby. I might as well play it this time. See steps, boom, I'll club across it. Okay? That's the toughest way to play it, but I'll do it. It's the best way. But I can live with the other. Okay? I can live with the other. And that's the way we're going to play it. You'll see that on film. The other thing is what we call it's really a push. Okay, it's really a push. All right, I think we call it a snatch. But what that ends up being is maybe you got a guy that can't get skinny through a hole. In other words, he can't penetrate at all, worth a darn. Okay? And he's probably not skilled enough to club across that. He can still do a job by just holding his ground. And I'll show you that right now. Just anybody again. I hate to use you all the time. I don't want that big guy again. So get on up here. No, but I appreciate it. What's going to happen is, as he's coming down on me, okay, you're the tackle. We said that this guy's not good. I mean, he can't get skinny. It wouldn't matter. He's just a big slug. He can't get skinny. Coach, it's ridiculous. He can't do it. Well, and I can't club across it either. The other way I'll play it is right here. My guard pulls. Okay, come on down. Okay? Number one, where are they going to tell him to put his head? In front. We're going to let him do his assignment. Okay? Assignment football. Go ahead and do it. Boom. Okay, it's in front, right? Now, all I'm going to do is hold my position, and I'm just going to push my hips back. Why did I push my hips back? I might be in here originally. Okay, go. Give me a little pressure. Okay? Keep going. You see, why did I push my hips back a little bit? So I can get off it and go to the ball. If it continues wide, I'll go ahead and shed them. I never shed too quick, though. Okay? I'm still in my whole responsibility. If he cuts it back, I can still fall back in on it, in through here. Okay? By him coming back over here and down blocking on me and the ball continues to go, I'll just push my hips back. That allows me to get separation, and I can still flow to the football. So those are the things. Those are the three ways we're going to react to that block. Okay? Not our primary run responsibility, because those things, it's obvious, right, what those were. Don't get reached, don't allow a jump through. And you see how repetitive it becomes. That's when you know you've taught it. When they can sit back there and say, Coach, don't get reached, don't allow a jump through, you've done your job. They know their responsibilities. The other things, this is reactionary blocks. Okay, reactionary blocks. We gave you three ways that they can react to that block. You might teach them, but make sure you teach your responsibilities first. Okay, those three ways, again, were, as we call, getting skinny through the hole, which is all it is penetrating. Clubbing across it means you got a great one. Okay? Another one would be just push. Okay, just a push technique. All right. If he pulls another reactionary block, I'm going to hit him quick. Another reactionary block would be if he pulls away from you. Okay, if he pulls away from you. We are never going to teach to immediately cross that center's face, okay? So as he comes here, we're not going to teach him to come across right now. We might tell him to collision him and push your hips, like the technique we talked about already. As I see him go, I'm late and I can't backdoor it, then I'll go ahead and step. That center steps to me. I'll collision him and I'll push my hips. That'll be the only time that I will ever come back across it, but it's going to be late. What is my primary run responsibility? Is that gap. Okay? So stay in it. All right? Stay in it. Eventually, I can push my thing just as we talked about earlier. If I do that now, I can fall back in on a play. You'll see on the film, we got one guy's an incredible athlete, Eric Swan. You guys know about him. He had 4 sacks in a preseason game out here. That's when everybody in Chicago learned about him. But when he blocks back, he'll hold that position. You'll see him push his hips, get separation, and fall back in on a play. Okay? The other way, how are your guys going to play that? See you, Coach. He pulls, we go. That's great. Okay? Is there a cutback? No. There is no cutback, and he might backdoor it. Okay? He might backdoor it. Again, tell him, use the same terms so they get used to knowing what you're talking about. Get skinny through the hole. If he comes, get skinny through the hole. Try to backdoor it. Okay? Try to backdoor it. Run around it. Try to backdoor it. Okay? The other one that we haven't talked about, because every clinic that we ever give, they always want to know, Coach, how do you stop the counter? Okay? I'll promise you, by the time you leave here, you're going to know how to stop the counter. Okay? We're going to stop the counter with our linebackers. But I'm going to show you how we're going to pick them off with our linemen. And when you see on tape, I'll prove it to you. All we're going to tell them, as soon as I get a down block, As soon as I get a down block, have you heard the term get skinny through the hole again? There it is. There it is. As soon as I see that and I can recognize it, get skinny through the hole and get up the field. We're going to tell them, we're going to try to teach them, don't tell them to make the play. You don't have to tell them to make the play. All you have to tell them to is, this is your battle to win. You pick one off. As a defensive line, we are going to pick one guy off. So as he comes down, maybe they're running the counter OT this way. Okay? Maybe they're running the counter OT. He's pulling and he's pulling. He's blocking back. Okay, he's blocking back. He's blocking back. Whatever. And they run this play. We're going to tell them as a unit, okay, as a unit, let's pick one guy off. Let's pick one off. So as I'm stepping down here, how do you think he's going to read that originally? Unless we got your formation tendency on you. How do you think he's going to read that originally? Jump through. He's going to read that as a jump through. So what's going to happen? He's actually going to step down inside with that guy. As soon as you see the back, as soon as you see his back, so as I'm coming back through here and I see that back, I'm going to throw that arm and get skinny through the hole. Try to get penetration through the hole. Is that a good position to be in? Not really, but you're going to pick one off. Okay? He might get absolutely trucked. But guess what he's going to do? He's going to pick one off. When he picks one off, that's a hit. Okay? On the line of scrimmage. If he picks them both off, which you'll see on film, when he picks them both off, that means we're going to make a tackle for a loss because nobody's on our force man. Okay? If you don't pick them off, you'll see where the linebacker's going to make the tackle for about a 2-yard gain. Okay? But if you can, now, are you going to give him a minus if he doesn't pick one off? No. Was it a responsibility? Was it a responsibility? No, it was not a responsibility. Coach, you told me my 2 responsibilities were not to get reached and not allowing a jump through. That isn't a jump through block, and that isn't a reach block, so anything else is gravy. And you're like, that's right, it's a reactionary block. If you do see a down block, though, what do we tell you to do? Try to pick one off, Coach. That's right. If you don't pick one off, we can still live with it. We said our linebacker's going to take care of the counters. We can still live with that. If you do pick one off, that's gravy. Okay? That's gravy. You'll see on tape, and we got a friggin' incredible kid, 98. Now, he never played college football, but, I mean, he's a frickin' stud. There's no question. He'll pick them both off and make the tackle. Okay? He will actually end up, and you'll see it, he'll actually pick them both off and make the tackle. One year, he got snubbed in the Pro Bowl. I hate to get off on this, but if I know the fans are voting for Pro Bowlers now, and coaches, everybody else are voting for Pro Bowlers. Let me tell you a quick little stat about Eric Swan. Eric Swan had as many tackles as Leon Lett and Dana Stubblefield combined. Eric Swan had more than both of them combined 2 years ago, and he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, and those 2 guys are starting. So, I mean, it's an absolute joke. 98, you'll see him. He's, without question, the best defense tackle in football. You don't make those plays. But if you never can't tell, your guys might be able to react and pick them both off. When he does, that's super. That's gravy. If he only picks one off, that's great. That means the front side linebacker is going to make the tackle. If we pick them both off, that means the force man's going to make the tackle for a loss. That's as simple as that. When you teach it, that's what you're telling them. Okay, I know I touched on those things quickly. What's the other thing that you're going to have to react to? Pass. Okay? Pass. You see a high hat? Boom. Whoa. It's pass. Come get it. Okay? And hopefully you guys probably know how to rush a passer better than I do anyway. Okay? I doubt it. But that's something you're going to react to. Different topic. Okay? So those are the reactionary blocks you're going to get. If you run a counter, because I had a coach, I just recently took a job somewhere, and a coach asked me, he goes, well, Coach, are you going to play, is he going to play outside that block or inside that block? Okay? On the pull. Is this guy going to play outside the block or inside the block? And I sat back, I said, now wait a second. Isn't his responsibility as soon as that head goes inside to close the cutback? Then he's actually doing his responsibility when he steps inside and closes the cutback. He is going to do his responsibility. So you don't tell him anything. You don't tell him anything. Let him do his responsibility. He will always get responsibility football. He's always going to get a hat outside or a hat inside. Okay? He'll always get that. So after I said, well, no, you got to understand that he's got to play his technique. Close the cutback. Okay? Period. He's going to close the cutback. If this guy totally lets him go, then he will obviously pick off one guy. But again, he's part of the unit. He's part of the unit. Let's try to pick one off. I'll be back here, try to pick one off. By the time I recognize it, I see his back, I might collision him, try to come back up. Okay? But he's playing assignment football. Anytime he's head up, it's a two-gap responsibility. He will play assignment football. He will have one of his two assignments, which is 7 yards of ground or close a cutback, period. Okay? Let's move on to the linebackers right now. But before we go, anytime you play a shade, how about if you play an under front? Just the opposite. Would it be any different? It won't ever be any different, okay? As we're going here, it will never be different. Whoop. I put nose, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just a tackle. Okay? If he's shaded, now we're changing our front, aren't we? We're changing our front. We're now playing an under defense. Are all our rules going to go out the window for this? No. Anytime he's playing a shade, what do you think his two responsibilities are? Somebody? Don't get reached, don't allow a jump through, period. And if they tell him in different order, they say, no, coach, it's don't allow a jump through, don't get reached. No, I say, no, that ain't the way I'm teaching you. It's don't get reached, don't allow a jump through. They'll understand. It's the same exact technique, okay? But no, don't let them be right on that. They have to tell you exactly. Oh, that's a minus. And you'll be surprised every now and then they'll get them mixed up, okay? But anytime they're in a shade, they're going to be like, God, this is gravy. I got two rules. I'm never going to get a minus. I'm never going to get a minus. But again, I got tape, and I'll show you where they can get a minus. All right? But when they do, it's because they're not concentrating. Okay? It's because they're not concentrating. The reason I put us in an under before we go to teaching the linebackers is anytime you have an open end, okay? Anytime you have an open end, he is going to play 2 yards wide. 2 yards wide. He's going to have two responsibilities. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? He's got two responsibilities. Guess what they are? One, he's a force man. If play comes at him, he's a force man. Okay? So basically what we're telling him to do is, hey, listen, play comes at you. I don't care who blocks you. I don't care if tackle blocks you, guard pulls, fullback leads, backside guard hits you. It doesn't matter. Anything coming at you, you're a force man. In other words, you're turning it back inside. It is your responsibility to make the tackle outside. Okay? Understand that. That's your responsibility. So we're going to free up, and as you're starting with, you know, it's okay to go ahead and take everything on with your inside arm and keep your outside arm back. Okay? That's fine. We don't teach it that way because we think our guys are better than that. We'll sit back there and actually turn right back into them, and we always say, don't ever trade 1 for 1. So we're going to stay alive. You got a good kid out there, and you see something coming, let him stack it. He's still in a force where if he does bounce it, I can still come off and make the tackle, but I can also squeeze this thing and fall back in on it. Okay? And just tell him to stay alive. Don't trade 1 for 1, stay alive. That's if you got a good one. If you don't have a good one, okay, and I know the way it is in high school, wherever, college, you just come into a program, you don't have a good one out there, you better be happy with them just turning the ball back inside, okay? Because the worst thing that can happen is that guy reaches you and that guy's out the gate on us, all right? Everybody else might play picture-perfect assignments, but then he bounces it and we're in trouble. Okay? We saw Barry Sanders do that against, you know, us for about 60 yards. And he was in good position, but he bounced it on us. But that's his responsibility when a flow's coming at him. When a flow's going away from him, he's got BCR. Okay, so the flow, that's flow coming to him. When flow goes away from him, we tell him he's got BCR. And that's just bootleg, counter, reverse. I know it's a universal term everybody uses. But he's got, so in other words, when flow goes away, if this quarterback boots, that's his responsibility. If they run some type of counter, he's a force man. He will always be outside the first puller. Okay, so a puller comes, that's what counter is. Puller comes, he's outside the first puller, and basically all he's doing is forcing. Okay? That's basically all that means. That he's going to force. If we got a play coming back, it's a misdirection, he's going to close it, he's still a force man. Okay, that's basically all counter means. Okay? And then reverse, self-explanatory. If you saw our Washington game, you're like, Coach, don't tell me how to stop a reverse, because they ran 2 of them on us. But if he's got a reverse, in other words, all we're going to ask him to do, this thing might be going deep. If it is, get up the field, turn it back inside. That's all we want to do. We never want the reverse to come over top of us. Always turn it back inside. When it's coming, we always turn that reverse back inside. But there's a problem there, isn't there? You'll see later as we get teaching linebackers how this guy's going to fast flow everything. So there's a problem there. If you just sit there and playing a bootleg, a counter reverse, you're generally going to be wide as hell, aren't you? Okay? Because that's your responsibility when flow goes away from you. But we also have to close this cutback hole. All right? And the technique's going to look like this. We tell them at first to get a yard penetration step. Okay? And all that is just, he's rolling off the football, going to look at everything. Okay? I see the picture. Okay? I see the picture. Everything's coming at me. If it is, I'm going to turn it back inside, force it. Okay? If it's going away from me, I have the BCR as my primary responsibility. But I also have to close this cutback. Because what happens, all these O's move. Okay? So they're going to end up all the way over here, and we got nobody closing the cutback. So what's going to happen is your guy might actually be turned. As he starts up the field, he might actually be turned as he's looking for a vision, looking for the bootleg, looking for a counter, looking for a reverse coming at him. He doesn't get it. He might actually be turned. Don't chase the football, because then if they do run one on you, they'll bounce it on you. So I'm back in through here. All I got to do is shut it down and drop my hips back into the hole, keeping my outside leg back. Okay? So as I'm coming, it's going to look like, you see the back end. As I'm coming through here, drop my butt and reduce the hole back down. Okay? Be patient. Reduce the hole back down. Then what we're going to try to do is, we said these pictures are going to move. Okay? This play all of a sudden is all the way over here, and you got to come back and drop your hip on that angle. Reduce that hole. Be patient. Do I need to make a tackle over here? No. Okay? We do not need to make a tackle over there. So, reduce that hole. Backside. My tackle's in that gap. I got to be back through here, reducing that hole down. I'll be up the field, turn back in, reduce that hole, get those shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, drop that outside foot back. Why do we do that? So we can work in case it does bounce on us. Okay? So that's a D-line responsibility. Okay? Anytime you have an open inside. That's the added thing. You become a force player now, and you also become a BCR player. But if you're open, you have to close the cutback as well. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to start on linebacker keys because I'm going to tell you. Okay, you just said, okay, 5 minutes? Okay, good. Let's go ahead and start on these linebackers, get you an idea. And again, those fronts that I showed you right there, that can be anything. You might run a college, or remember the old, we call it a swim defense, where you line up, head up, whatever. Now you are two gap players here, which never went over. But that's that open end we talked about. He's a force player. He's a BCR away, but he has to close the cutback. If he's head up here, what are his two responsibilities? 7 yards of ground this way, cut back this way. Okay, when flow goes away. So I don't care what front you run. What is your base front end? These techniques you can work off anything. Okay? The way we want to if you choose. Okay, let's talk about linebacker keys. when I went back and they said, all right, Rex, you're going to coach linebackers. It's really my choice. But when they told me that, I said, all right, who's the best linebacker I know that I have film on? It damn sure wasn't the guys that we had. Okay, it was Mike Singletary. And I went back and I looked and I said, damn, how come he never takes a false step, ever? He knows exactly where that ball's going. And what happened is, I kept looking because we always used to teach this. We always used to teach, all right, you keying right through here. You're keying the triangle through here, okay? You're going to key it. Key the triangle. But when they talk about keying the triangle, nobody really understands what you're talking about. You know? I'm serious. Because you're like, oh, Coach, well, now this guy went away. I don't know who the hell he keyed. All right? And you're going to get that dumbfounded look. So what you got to teach them something. You got to teach them something. And what we ended up doing is we like the fact that everybody fast flowing off the backs. Okay? Everybody fast flowing off the backs. We also like the idea that linemen don't lie to you. Okay? That linemen don't lie, backs do. So we're trying to combine a system into saying, well, we want a system that has the advantage of fast flowing the backs like people do, and we also want a system that just studies the hell out of that line because they don't lie to you. And the way we do it is this. Our guys are going to take a step with the back. We are going to step with the back, key the lineman. We're going to step with the back, key the lineman. You're going to see we're going to fast flow everything. All right? And I'll go ahead and get started on this. I put us in an I formation for a reason, okay? I put us in a brown or a blue also, okay? But actually I won't even bother with that because I'm going to teach you how to speed read that. But as a starting point, I put them in a straight I. There is no advantage for us right now because they can run the ball weak, they can run it strong, okay? Generally, most I teams run the ball weak, play action strong, but that's not every time. So you're going to teach your guys, right now we're going to step. Who do you think we step with? Fullback. Everybody right now says, well, hell, coach, fullback, because we've learned since we were 10 years old that the fullback's either going to do one of two things. He's either going to lead or carry. Okay? He's either going to lead or carry. So that's why we step with him. That's the guy who's going to take us there. Okay? He's either going to lead or carry, generally. So what we do is, these guys, you're like, well, great, coach, so we got it. We're going to step with that guy, and then we're going to key our lineman. But you got to tell them where they're going to step to. Okay? You got to tell them where they're going to step to. And these are the angles that we do. This will be for any front we run. I'll show it to you out of under. I'll show it to you out of over. Anything you want, I'll show it to you, okay? But basically what we tell them to do is this. We put pointers on the inside leg of our ends, okay, the inside leg of my end, and the inside leg of my backside tackle. Okay? That's the angle, that's the step we want to get. We want to take that step. Okay? We want to take that kind of step. And as you're teaching them, progression is going to be like this. You might sit back, and this is where they're going to have success with this drill. Okay, I think that's important, especially when you're introducing something new to them. You put a back out there, okay? You don't need linemen right now, okay? Maybe you just put your D lineman in for front because just show them the proper angles. But all they're going to do is step with this guy, okay? They're not going to take two steps. They're going to take one step. And it's just going to be a little weight transfer step, boom, right there. Just get your foot in the ground. Some people call it, 6-inch step or whatever, okay? All right, and everybody knows, because what do you tell your wife 6 inches is? About like that, right? So, I mean, you got to actually get it a little longer. Take your legitimate 6-inch step, get that foot in the ground, okay? So as that back goes away, boom, I'm taking that 6-inch step. All it is just a transfer step that puts me in the right direction. That puts me in the right direction based on where that guy's going. So, I mean, My wife's no great athlete. She can sit back there, and if I step one way, she can step. Oh, okay, that's good. And she'll be standing probably like most kids, like this, in a hellacious linebacker stance. You know, okay, that's great. All right? So anybody can do that, and they're going to have success with it. All right? And by the way, since we're talking about stances, first thing about a stance, get those feet inside. Narrow that base up a little bit. When I watch people, and this is us, for instance, you'll see the 94 tape, our legs are out here. For us to move, the first thing we have to do is either drop step or bring them back inside. So you're slowing up already. You know you got to come to that anyway, that position with your feet anyway. So narrow them up to start with. You want them to be quick. You want them to be quick. They can't block you. All right, so narrow that base up. Get the weight going forward. If the worst thing we do is come a little more forward than we do sideways or whatever, then that's okay. Okay, that's okay. Get them to take a lead step. All right? If they're balanced, if they're too much weight on the heels, where's that first step going? It's going backwards. All right? Get that weight going forward on the balls of the feet where it has to come forward. Okay? It has to come forward. So clean up that stance is going to help you. That's fine if you're playing on your knees. Okay, that's fine. I like them loose, though. I like them loose. That makes me quicker. The smoother you are, the quicker you are, okay, with your keys. Now, that point, so that is really easy. Holy cow, that's gravy, Coach. I'm taking you, and for one day, you've taught them how to do this. That's a hell of a coaching job, all right? But believe me, it is, okay? It's going to be. Because what that's going to do is take them to their key. They don't know it yet, but that's going to take them to their key. All right? That step is going to take them to their key. Why do we put them on these pointers? When they come up, when they come out, when they come up, have them point. Here's my inside knee of my in. Here's the inside leg of my backside tackle. That's my pointer step. That gets me to think about it right now. So I'm either going to be here on the inside path right here, or I'm going to be, as I step, I'm going to be on the inside path of my backside tackle. Why do you think we put them there? Okay, number one, we play our linebackers head up. Okay? We play them head up. So the most dangerous block that you're going to get play side would be a reach block, wouldn't it? And I'll go one more. I know everybody in this room is seeing the same thing we saw. These if blocks. Okay? That kind of block where they're trying to get a momentary double team on your end and then get back up to you. Okay, I know everybody has seen that. I'll refer to that as an if block. Okay, as an if block. So if we get going on and I'm not clear on it, if I say an if block, you understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Because what happens is, I'll tell you what, we go and play San Diego in a scrimmage, and we got Eric Hill as good a linebacker as there is. And that guy blocks out, and he looks at that hole, and he goes, oh, hell, I got to take it. And when he did, what happened? The guy sealed him off, and they ran one for about 30 yards on us. So we tell them, get on that pointer step. You are going to step and protect yourself against that block. Okay? You're going to protect yourself against that block. And that's why we step the way we do. Okay? Inside foot of the end. Where's that tackle going to block? He's going to block our end. Okay, most dangerous block we see is that if block. Step. Now we're going to cross over and we are going to rip through every lineman. Going to rip through every lineman. We are not going to slow play anything. So we're going to step here. If he's giving us that if block, we're going to rip right through that if block. Okay, we are going to rip right through the if block. So if I'm getting that, and I'm sure you guys are getting that too, as I'm stepping here and I see my tackle, I've made my step with the back, and I see that tackle, double teaming on my end, I'm going to pick him off of him as soon as I can. Attack it. 2 reasons. Number one, I'm attacking the line of scrimmage. The second reason is I want to pick him off of our end. Okay? I'm going to pick him off of our end. So we got to rip right through that block. Okay. That's what we protect ourselves against, is that block right there. I know what you're going to, well, we're going to get down blocks, we're going to get leads, we're going to get all that stuff. That's the most dangerous block you'll face because of your alignment. You're a head up you're in a head-up alignment. If you down block, I'm going to kill the fullback. Okay, I know that. Everybody knows that. But he's still taking me to that key. Am I wrong by stepping outside? If my fullback comes and is going to lead on me, am I wrong by taking a jab step outside? No. Okay? But I got to step. I got to take a proper step to beat that if block. If I don't, what's going to happen if I step poorly? And I got the fullback stepping to me and this guy running an if block path. Whoa, I'm in trouble here. He's going to come off on me. Okay, he's going to come off on me. So that's the angle that we're going to, step with and prevent that block. Okay, the other one is the back side. Okay, obviously the back side. If I'm going in this case, as soon as he stepped to us, we said we're going to fight through that if block. We're going to turn it back. We're going to rip through it, get our shoulder down, and rip through that if block. Backside, we said we're going to be on this pointer to the inside foot of our 3 technique. Okay? The inside foot of our tackle. Who are we keying now? Are we going to key backside? No, it slows you down. Key the play side. Okay? Let me ask something. For them to run a play back to the weak side, for them to run a play that's worth a darn back to the weak side, what do they have to do if they start to pull back this way? Better pull somebody, okay? They better pull somebody. Who do you think they're going to pull, the tackle or the guard? Generally, most teams will pull the guard. Guess who we pulled? We ended up pulling the frickin' tackle and couldn't get that 350-pounder out there to block anybody, I can promise you. Okay, but most teams will do this. Some type of, pull both of them, whatever. But somebody's going to pull, okay, for them to run a play. So that's why we take our pointer back to the play side, not to the back side, okay? As we stepped here, if we had to continue to look at the back side, there's 2 blocks you're going to get there that are hard as hell to distinguish between, okay? A jump through, or what everybody calls a scoop, and a down block. Because I used to teach this side all the time, and I'd be like, oh, what the hell, he gave you a down block. Well, yeah, that's easy to say when you're running the film back. Okay? But it's hard as hell to see the difference. So don't be taking a step and keying here. Is that a down block or is that a jump through? Oh, that's a jump through. Boom. Okay? Let's see. That looks like to me, oh shit, that's a down block. Bam. Okay? So we're going to fast flow everything. For them to run a play back to the weak side, they have got to pull somebody. They have got to pull somebody. So that back is taking me to my key. Okay, by stepping this way, he's declared that way. I'm on my inside pointer path, which is the inside leg of my backside tackle. That's my direction. Okay, that's my direction. My foot is taking me to where my eyes have got to go. Okay? My eyes, as soon as he steps here, my eyes are going backside. As soon as he stepped here, my eyes are going here. Okay? If my foot's going here, my eyes are, he's going to take me to where I need to look. Okay? Anytime I play a head-up position and I got to flow a guy stepping to me, I know the guy in front of me is the guy I got to key. Anytime he goes away, I'm checking backside guard right now. Okay? My vision is going to go through the backside guard. They might have an offset here also. Okay? But that's where my vision has got to go through. Okay. Let me touch this real quick with you. They are going to be backside. Anytime I'm looking backside, we already touched on something. They have got to pull somebody to run weak, right? They've got to pull somebody to run weak. What is, and we call that an alarm. We're going to give you 2 alarms, okay? The first alarm is pull, because that tells me right now the play is coming back, the play is coming my direction. So I better redirect, okay? And I wish I had a film that'll show you the techniques of last year's linebackers. They're much better than what you'll see on this tape. But as I'm stepping here, as I'm stepping right now and that flow goes away, my eyes right now go to the backside. I see something pull. I should never cross over. I don't need to. I'm back through here. There goes my back. My eyes right now go to that backside. I see a pull. I come back and redirect. Okay? I redirect. And that tells me right now, an alarm went off in my head. Whoa, pull. Okay? That's one of those alarms Coach was talking about. Okay? That means it's some type of counterplay. The other alarm that you're going to see a ton of would be a hi-hat. If all of a sudden you see that guard blocking as a hi-hat, you know, as a pass, then that's an alarm. Whoa, I better get the coverage. Okay? I better get the coverage. So I got two alarms. Pull coming back to me. Whoa, I know to redirect. Hi-hat tells me my pass drop. Play pass. Nobody's going to run block this way. Straight up. Taking a back step. Okay? Unless you're playing the Bengals and they take that drop step, and you can just tee off on those guys. You don't even have to worry about that shit. All right? So a low hat means, you know, obviously run. A high hat means pass. But those are your two alarms. Anything else, where's that guy going? He's going between those tackles. Right now he's going between those tackles. He's going to key how they block him. All right? But right now he's on that directional path between here. What is that tackle's responsibility? Hold the jump through, right? He's playing a shade. He's going to hold the jump through. We don't tell the linebackers that tackle's holding the jump through. Okay? You know what we tell that linebacker? You got to beat it. All right? When I coach the D-line, it's like, you got to hold it, period. When I coach the linebackers, it's like, hey, you got to beat it. Always put the pressure on your guys. Always put it on the guys that you're coaching. You know, that'll stop the fist fight between a linebacker coach and a D-line coach. You know, somebody, well, bull crap, your guy never beat him. That basically solves it. So teach it where your guy beats it. So as soon as he goes, and I don't see one of those alarms going off, I'm going to shoot this arm and rip across it. Why am I not going to try to square up immediately? If I square up immediately, I'm going to be slow, and he's got a chance to get around me. For me to beat that block, I got to get around it anyway. Okay? And as a starting point, we put them, we actually work our way up to 4 yards depth. Work your way up to 4. As a starting point, you might have them at 5. Okay? To start with. Get them depth. Why? Because your angles are going to be downhill. You got to teach them how to play downhill angles. Okay? But eventually, we want them right there at 4 yards. Okay? But get them on those angles. Teach them how to play those angles. Now, we said that we're going to go ahead, that I'm looking for 2 alarms. If I don't get them, I'm going to beat that block right there. I've got to beat that block. I'm going to beat it with this technique as we showed right here as I'm stepping. Boom, I'm going to rip it. For him to cut me, for that guy to cut me, if he wants you to play it this way, he can get your leg, he can cut you. He wants this leg. Okay, as I'm flowing this direction, he wants to get to my outside leg. So if I square up, you're letting him cut you. All right, so as I'm stepping here, boom, I'm going to play over the top of his head. I'm going to play over the top of his head. I don't care if he's up high, down low. I'm going to rip through the top of him. Okay? Number one, it tells you that your tackle did a terrible job holding the jump through. Okay? But it's going to happen. There's no question it's going to happen sometimes. And when it does, you got to play over top of it. You can't worry about playing backside of it. You got to play over top of it. We always need you as a free hitter to the football. Okay? So we have got to play over the top of that block. For instance, a quick thing. If he comes off right now and he seals you, okay, and he seals you, we don't have a free hitter to the ball. They're going to run it play side. You do not have a free hitter to the ball. Everybody else can play technique perfect. B gap, C gap, outside, 7 yards of ground, strong safety, here for force. We can be in perfect shape, but if he cuts you off, you've already created a running lane in that A gap. That's why you got to rip through the top of it. Okay? Rip over the top of it. Another thing, is there going to be a cutback? Would there any way in hell be a chance for a cutback if this guy allowed the jump through off? Okay? There really wouldn't be because he's already in there. Okay? The same thing. If he plays with technique, we want him to cut it back. That means it's going to be a hit on the line of scrimmage or for a loss. Okay? And if he plays with technique, I can promise you there's going to be a cutback. Okay? But we got to get there first. We have got to get there first. We've got to beat the jump through. Okay? We've got to beat the jump through.